Something I never noticed growing up is how influential storytelling was and how it impacted the growth of my creativity. Shows, movies, music, sometimes books. I wasn't a very big reader anymore, but more on that in a different story. No, storytelling surrounded me, impacted me, and changed the course of how I look at creativity. But how? Isn't it just a bunch of words on paper? How can 26 letters, or 28, alter the don't know which one it is, alter a person's entire trajectory in life? That is what I want to find out. I was always an experimental artist, dabbling in every art form I could get my hands on. I didn't have access to many art supplies growing up, so I had to get creative with what I had. Napkins, church pens, and envelopes fostered my artistic beginning. It was just me and my line notebook for years, until I overheard these kids talking about YouTube, something I'd never heard about before. And when I explored it myself, I fell down a rabbit hole of endless creativity at my fingertips. Animation, tutorials, gaming, and my favorite, storytelling. And there was one channel in particular that grabbed my attention. It was a group of guys making funny challenge videos that made me ask for the first time, you can pursue a dream like this? I know, pretty deep for like a 13-year-old. It wasn't a very impactful video, and I don't even remember what the video was, but I do remember the joy it brought me to watch. There was one little channel and a collection of others that I loved that stayed with me from day one. And that was Team Edge, primarily Matthias. He didn't know me, but I knew him. And in my chaotic world, he was a platform of stability. I would watch his videos till 3 a.m. and try to make my own the next day. And eventually, I would grow up watching his content. His 863 series is actually what got me into making comics. And after that series ended and the videos stopped, I fell back to my old channels, reminiscing on the old days of YouTube. What had happened to it? Back before the ads and sponsors, just pure creativity. And I wondered, would those days ever return? As the weather grew warmer this year, I had the lovely pleasure of catching whatever virus was floating around, leaving me on the couch for a few days. With nothing else to do, I decided to return to Reddit after a long hiatus. A notification popped up that was from a familiar page I followed. Clicking it, it was Matthias responding to someone about an uploaded video he made. With nothing to do at rest, I sighed and clicked the video, wondering if maybe there would be a glimmer of the videos I once held so dearly. I hit play and was immediately sucked into a whole new kind of video format. Still a challenge in a way, but it was different, and my glimmer of hope grew into a flame. At its core, this video is two brothers playing Minecraft, one experienced and one clearly not.
But after explicitly telling him, no, don't dig, he proceeded to dig himself into a hole he could not get out of.
Oh, hit the bottom of the world?
Yep. You hit the bottom of the world.
It's an adventure of one teaching another. It's comedy, it's growth, it's frustration, and it's eye-catching. But most importantly, it's storytelling. But you wouldn't notice that if you didn't pay attention. Matthias delivers this story in a journaling play-by-play style. And to a normal viewer, it just may seem like he's explaining what's happening on screen. And then boom, there's cinematography, there's animation, there's setting, and there's a clear goal. Once you start breaking down the video, it reveals this incredible, thought-out world that you would miss if you aren't open to seeing it. And that is what I believe storytelling is. It's a way to communicate more than just words. The story opens with a witty Brian who is focused on the fun of this new adventure, and Matt who prioritizes productivity. Brian gets 4 lives total and Matthias 1. If Matthias dies, it's all over. But if Brian doesn't get revived in time or uses up all of his lives, it's all over. From the start, the stakes are clear, giving our characters motivation. We are introduced to the two characters' personality. Experienced players can relate to Matt, who is just trying to get stuff done, while people who have never played Minecraft may relate more with Brian, wanting to explore or knowing the frustration of trying new things. Then our setting emerges, a beautiful valley that will be the home for our characters. Personalities are put to the test as Matt grows more bold with his ways to protect Brian, and Brian outwits Matt with his determination to do things himself. It's such a beautiful way to deliver 2 points of view from the same situation. We get to watch these two brothers build, debate, and become frustrated at some points with one another. The whole time there is this element that there is something building up in each of them. The turning point was when Brian disobeys Matt's command to stay home as he went to go fight in the village. Brian wanted to prove himself. He enters the battle and almost loses one of his most precious lives. Hearing Matt's command, he finally obeys and goes home as Matt cleans up the mess. Defeated, confidence lacking, he sits in the house that his brother built as he was told to do the simple, safe tasks. Matthias was coming to terms with how his current method of protection wasn't helping but harming, and offers a gift to his brother. a symbol of trust, two becoming one front, working towards the same goal. Matthias set Brian up for success with a guide to the game he wrote. And even though Brian had his moments of protest,
This sort of nonsense continued the entire day.
Matt,
Brian?
question.
What?
Couldn't I have like a handy dandy manual to carry around with me?
Instead of what?
Memorizing it all?
So let me ask you this. In the heat of the moment, like the last time, you're going to pull out the book?
Touche. Just ask me one question. Let's see if I get it right.
What happens when you throw an Eye of Ender?
It opens up the portal to the end region.
When you throw it? No, you failed. Get back to work.
Matthias kept his cool and encouraged his brother to keep learning. Brian passed his knowledge test and Matthias brought him to the next stage. Trusting his brother to focus, Matthias left to the Nether. And upon his return, he found his brother not only did focus, but completed the task that was given. With this newfound trust, the two brothers would now face their greatest challenge together. Or so we thought. Upon awakening, Matthias finds a sign outside left by his brother. Being overcome by a flashback of how far they had come, Matthias had to make a choice. Let his brother face his consequences, or go after him. And this brotherly trust is not easily broken. Matthias made it to the end to find his brave brother attempting to take on the dragon on his own. And there's very big quotation marks around brave.
Oh! Oh! What was that? Run away! Oh! 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 I almost died.
Yeah, it was not going well. Keeping a cool head though, Matthias coached Brian through the plan, knowing there was no going back and that this was it, their final stand. At each breathtaking point, the story exploded. The entire time you had no clue who would be victorious. Would they triumph or leave empty-handed? Would Brian be the hero of his own story, or would Matthias have to step in once again to clean up a mess? Arrow after arrow, close call after call, these two brothers fell in sync with one another. One final strike, and their goal had been achieved.
Oh, snap!
And of course, one last head-shaking moment from Brian.
Oh no! He broke his bed!
Was all that we needed to wrap up the moral of the story. And if it wasn't clear enough, the ending sign spelled it out for us. The video came to a close, and I was floored. How could someone pour this much time into a video without the confidence of even knowing it would pay off? And this was the moment of my choice. The YouTube I loved never left. It was just buried under the world's dirt, convincing us that we needed a paycheck to love what we do. I do believe that creators are realizing the rut monetary means have put us in, locking us into this mindset of ads and comparison. So I had to come to terms with the following. Matthias isn't going to be around forever, and someone has to pick up the mantles to keep this pure love of creativity alive. I am willing to carry that mantle. This is my story and my goal. We are the new generation of creatives, and this is why we need storytelling, to keep the flame alive.